Hey guys, welcome back to Getting Her to Say I Do, my video dating vlog, as I journey through the process of healing, becoming healthy, and then dating and pursuing relationships into someone that I'll engage and then get married and start my own family. This is my journey through that whole entire process, and you guys are going with me. I just want to be able to look at this whenever I finally meet someone, and then I begin to engage them and pursue them, and just kind of that whole process. I want to be able to look back at it and understand, and also track my growth over the years or amount of time it takes me to find somebody to marry. So today we're gonna talk about emotions, and I think I have OCD. So whenever I get interested in something or I meet someone or something, like anything that just like interests me, I latch onto it and I just try to figure out as much about it as I possibly can. So today we're gonna talk about emotions. So this started with me watching Baby Boy. We've seen Baby Boy, Jody and Yvette, and so like I was watching it, and if you're a man, you understand and you know it. It's just kind of part of life. But like they're together, and then she finds out that he's cheating on her, and they get into this fight, and okay, that's bad. He hits her, like she's hitting him, she punches him and pushing him and all that stuff, and then he hits her, and then he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that, and apologizes, and then they have this intimate moment where he tries to comfort her through sex, and um and then they break up, and he leaves, and then she comes and gets her car back from him because he had it, and then he tries to come in and she won't let him in, and then he's like, forget it, whatever, and leaves. And so they don't talk for a couple of days. Like they don't talk for a couple of days, and over these couple of days, so much stuff happens. And as I was looking at it, I was like, God dang. So her ex-boyfriend or whoever gets out of jail, shows up at her house, moves in, um, and then he tries to rape her. He doesn't, but he tries to. So that's her. That's a lot. Like if you physically, emotionally, like if someone tries to attack you, oh my goodness, traumatic. He leaves and gets jumped. They take his stuff. Um, he gets beat up by his mom's boyfriend, and kicked out of the house. Now he's homeless. He goes to her house to talk to her and get his son and stuff. And a guy answers the door, and her ex is sitting on the couch with all his friends in the house. Um, and all of this happens. And so whenever they meet back up, um, when they meet back up, she comes and says, "Oh, this happened to me, and he tried to do this to me," and he just comforts her and loves on her and doesn't say anything about all the stuff that he had been through and all the stuff that he's experienced, and she probably never found out all that he had been through and all that had happened. Um, and then after he finds out, he goes to get him out of the house. Or after he finds out what he's been through, he comes over. Her ex boyfriend comes over, and they do a drive by and like shoot up his friend's house, and like his life literally like flashes before him. So like he goes through all of this stuff, and all this stuff happens to him. But her, when she goes through it, like and she goes and shows up on his doorstep and is like, "Hey, this is going on," and kind of tells him that he's staying there, and she didn't ask him to be there, and he's like, "Ain't got nothing to do with me," and like stay on the door, is like, "Get off my porch." And and so she sits, she gets in the car with her friend, and she starts crying and pouring out her heart and her feelings to him, and he feels the same exact way that she does, but he's not able to express it, nor does he have anyone to express what's going on with him or to him with, because there's no male role model, there's no male figure in his life besides his friend who's like the same age as him and has absolutely no stability and nothing to give him any sound advice. The advice that he does give him, it's helpful, as much as it can be, but like he doesn't have anybody to run to communicate with, to share these thoughts, to share these feelings with, to express himself, and he can't express them to her. And so that's why I wanted to focus on that a little bit today, just because like men suffer in silence. And so while you're dating, like women want this this man who's emotional and can express his feelings and talk to her and tell her and share all these things with her. Men have emotion. We just tend to express anger a little bit more readily and easily than other emotions. But it bothered me like when women want a man to express his feelings and express his emotions and things like that, like in order for someone to do that, they have to be in a place where they feel completely secure and comfortable because we're conditioned and trained not to have emotions, not to have feelings. If you cry as a child, even if you're with your mom, she's gonna tell you stop crying, stop being a baby, stop crying. So we're trained not to cry, and then with the lack of males and men, role models, figures, father figures, there's no male in the house to show us how we're supposed to act, and when there is, they generally say the same thing: stop crying, you're acting like a girl. And then if you go outside, whenever you finally do break loose from mama's hugs and kisses and love, and you go outside and you start playing basketball or football or whatever, like if you call foul, oh, you a crybaby, we gonna push you down and foul you even more. Stop being a baby, stop being weak. And a lot of times they'll just call you explicit words that you use for someone who's homosexual, or something just rude like that. Like they'll call you and talk about you if you are sensitive, if you do express any type of emotion outside of anger. And I think the reason why we love anger so much is because it fuels us and it drives us and it puts us in a position where we're ready to act. And it's not that we're always angry. We may be hurt, we may be afraid, we may be insecure, but we can't express that to you because it's considered weak and we don't want you to take advantage of us, or we don't want you throwing it up in our face or telling your friends, oh yeah, girl, he was crying and all this. Like, let me cry. Like, that's a super sacred like time. I don't want everybody to know that I was crying on your shoulder. Like, keep that between us. So as we like go through this, and this is something that I'm trying to understand a little bit more. I want to understand and know my emotions. So what happened? There was this girl. She's gorgeous. And I'm not pursuing any relationships right now. I'm not. But something had happened, like an accomplishment or something. And so I sent her a message like, hey, congratulations, blah, 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 blah. So what happened was she rejected my compliment. And it wasn't me trying to like date her or pursue a relationship with her or anything like that. It was just like a, hey, congratulations. I wanted to celebrate her. And like her response to me felt like rejection, and it made me so sad because my intentions were so pure. It made me so sad. So I was cleaning out behind my dryer because whenever you dry clothes, like the lint and stuff goes everywhere. So I was cleaning behind my dryer and vacuuming stuff, and cleaning. And I was like, oh yeah, this happened. So I messaged her real quick, blah blah blah. Hey, great, blah blah blah. And her response, like literally, it made it like it didn't paralyze me, but I literally climbed on top of the the dryer, and just sat there and sulked. And I was like, dang. There is no feeling worse than rejection. I was like, dang, well, I feel ugly right now. I feel stupid. And I was like, ugh. And I literally had to deal with my feelings and my emotions. So feelings are emotions are happy, sad, anger, and fear. Like those are the four basic ones or whatever. But your emotions are your natural, instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationship with others. So it's your response to what's going on around you. So, like if someone was being nasty to you, you would get angry or you would be sad, and that's the emotion that you experience, and that's your way of responding to the thing that's happening to you. And because of these emotions and because of these feelings, you are able to understand what's going on and how you feel about those situations and other things. And one of the things that bothers me the most about this is people trying to tell you how to feel, like, oh, you should be happy or you should feel this way. So the other one is it is a feeling or emotional state or reaction. It's an instinctive, it's natural, like it's just there. It's not something that you learn or something that you understand or something that you're trained to do. It's instinctive. It's instinctive and intuitive feelings as distinguished from reasoning or knowing. And it's your response based on your historical insight. So based on your circumstances or your understanding or your upbringing or your culture, you respond this way to certain things. So when people tell you you should feel like this or you should feel like that, no, you don't understand what I've been through, and because of what I've been through, my response is this rather than that. And that's completely okay because your feelings are designed for you, to let you know how you're feeling, to let you know what you like, what you enjoy, what you want, what you don't want. And it makes you an individual. It makes you distinct. It makes you your own person. And understanding and knowing that helps you to be able to communicate and express yourself to other people. Emotions are beautiful, they're wonderful, they're amazing, but men don't. We don't like being emotional, but when you get angry and you tear up a whole house or a living room, that's emotional also, but it's not healthy to only function in anger or happiness. You need to have those in betweens and also be able to communicate. But the most important thing in all of this is communication and understanding. If you don't understand and know the person that you're communicating with, then they don't feel comfortable enough to express themselves and share their feelings with you. They also won't be able to communicate and let you know how they're feeling, because when you're with somebody, it's your intention, it's your responsibility to know them, to love them, to nurture them, to cater to them, and make them feel comfortable. It's not your job to make them happy. Happiness is something that belongs to us. But if you're doing and intentionally doing things that make them unhappy or make them angry or frustrated, then you're a hindrance and a nuisance, and it causes issue and problem also. So understanding, knowing who you're dealing with, and not dealing with them, but loving them also. Um, so it's a beautiful thing, but it's all rooted and grounded in communication and understanding. And that is awesome and amazing, but I would not recommend watching that movie because it is a lot. However, I did enjoy it, and it gave me this great topic, and I thought that was super dope. So, understanding your emotions and then understanding how to communicate and express those emotions are super dope. I hope you guys are mentally and emotionally healthy, because that's necessary for a relationship. Be able, like, whenever somebody does something to you that you don't like or they don't like, being able to communicate that to them just makes your relationship so much better, so much deeper, so much more when you can clearly and openly communicate with each other about what's going on in your life. And also, women, I don't know why I'm tired like this. Women, like, as men, we want to be the protector, we want to be the provider, we want to be the man. So when you come in the house with all these problems and you pour them out and dump them at our feet, it's our job to love you and nurture you and care for you. That does not create an environment for us to be vulnerable either, because you have completely, like, hijacked this entire moment with all your mess. And our job is now to take care of you. And because you got all this going on, we don't want to add our mess onto yours also. So we suffer in silence with it. So intentionally creating an atmosphere where your man or your guy can just express and communicate, and just clearly say, hey, this is going on. Rub his feet, light a candle, make him some dinner, and don't bring none of your mess to the table. Just celebrate him and make him feel valued and comfortable, and then allow him to communicate. And if he says nothing, or I don't feel like talking about it, respect that and let the man be the man. But learn your spouse, learn the person that you're dealing with, love them intentionally and the way that they want to be loved, not the way you feel like loving them, because we're all different and we all have our different emotions. So that being said, I love you guys. God bless you, and thank you for tuning in to Getting Her to Say I Do. And hopefully, I'm emotionally healthy enough to pursue relationships by the time the 6 months is over with. Also, I met this girl. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you about it another time, because I'm not dating right now or pursuing any relationships.